Have you ever had to forgive someone? Maybe they did something that was not so nice to you. When you forgive someone, it tells them that what you did was wrong, but I'm not going to stay upset about it or mad at you. It might be hard to forgive because that means someone did something that hurt you, but God wants us to be forgiving. Being forgiving shows kindness to others and ourselves. Plus, it's a great way to show God's love. Today's story is about Joseph, who had to be very forgiving. Let's check out the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors. Joseph's story had to do with his whole family, and he had a lot of brothers. His father was named Jacob, and Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph, the youngest brother, was very smart and trustworthy, and because of this, he was treated very well by his father, Jacob. That's why Jacob gave Joseph something special, a colorful coat. This coat meant that Joseph was the favorite son of Jacob. This made all his brothers jealous. To make matters worse, Joseph started sharing with his brothers about some dreams he was having. These dreams were about Joseph's brothers and others bowing down to him. Joseph's dreams made his brothers think Joseph was trying to be their leader, even though he was the youngest one. So their jealousy and hatred grew and grew. Then one day, when Joseph's brothers were far away doing some work, Jacob told his son Joseph to go check on his brothers. And when his brothers saw that Joseph was coming, they trapped him in a big hole. They thought about killing Joseph. But one brother suggested that instead they sell Joseph to some passing merchants. And that's what they did. They sold Joseph as a slave. When Joseph's brothers got home, they lied to their father and told him that an animal had killed Joseph. They even showed Jacob the colorful coat which they dipped in animal blood to make it look like Joseph really died. And their father believed them. He was very, very sad. But Joseph didn't die. He stayed faithful to God, and he trusted that God would take care of him. Even though Joseph was taken away as a slave, everyone around him quickly realized how good and trustworthy he was. Joseph made friends, worked hard, and stayed close to God. At one point, he was put in jail for something he didn't do, but the Pharaoh let him out of jail because Joseph proved that he was very good at telling what people's dreams meant. See, Pharaoh was having these dreams he didn't quite understand, so he asked Joseph to tell him what they meant. One of Pharaoh's dreams was about 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows, and all of the skinny cows ate up the fat cows. God told Joseph what the dream meant, and Joseph explained to Pharaoh. There would be 7 easy years with lots of food, represented by the 7 fat cows. Then there would be 7 hard years with no food, represented by the skinny cows. After hearing this, Pharaoh knew that he needed to store lots of food in Egypt during the 7 good years, so that everyone would have enough food for the 7 bad years. Pharaoh was so impressed with Joseph, he put him in charge of storing food and lots more. Joseph was a ruler of Egypt. Then, during the 7 bad years, Joseph's brothers come back into the story. See, Jacob and his whole family were really hungry and they needed food. So the brothers traveled to Egypt and stood before Joseph to ask for grain. They didn't recognize their brother, but Joseph recognized them. Joseph decided to test his brothers to see if they had changed and if they were trustworthy. After they passed the tests, Joseph revealed who he really was. You can imagine how surprised his brothers were seeing Joseph as a ruler of Egypt. Joseph forgave his brothers for selling him into slavery and said that his journey to Egypt was God's plan so that he could keep the family from starving by providing grain. Joseph even let the whole family, including Jacob, live close by in Egypt so they could have the food and the things they needed. That's quite a story of forgiveness. Joseph had the power to punish his brothers for selling him, but he chose to forgive them instead. The love that Joseph had for God and for his family was more important than the idea of getting revenge. Think about if you've ever had to forgive someone for doing something to you. Or have you done something you shouldn't have done to someone else and they needed to forgive you? In times like that, it can be very hard to be forgiving. But forgiveness shows God's love, and showing God's love is something we should always try to do, just like Joseph did. Now, here's a song about forgiveness.
Forgiveness shows kindness. Forgiveness shows love. Forgiveness shows kindness. Forgiveness shows love. You should always be kind to others, even if they are not kind to you. If someone treats you not so well, forgiving them is the thing to do. Forgiveness shows kindness. Forgiveness shows love. Forgiveness shows kindness. Forgiveness shows love.
Okay, that's the story about Joseph and his coat of many colors and his forgiveness. See you next time.
Hey, hey.